speculation about how this thing might be an interstellar spacecraft. Talk from a Harvard professor.
The chair of Harvard's astronomy department, Dr. Avi Loeb, noted that the object seemed to follow the propulsion patterns of a new technology that is currently being tested for future space missions, known as solar sail propulsion. Large reflecting sails capture sunlight to propel a craft through the vacuum of space.
You can design essentially photon sails. So the idea has been to make a material that reflects photons, which is light, very efficiently.
Stars could be moving in all sorts of directions and are separated by huge distances. Hawaiians celebrate the annual Makahiki Festival, a 4-month-long period honoring the Hawaiian New Year and the reappearance of the Pleiades star cluster in the sky. The celebration commemorates Lono, the god of rain and peace, and his arrival to Earth in a canoe.
It's a time of celebration and to acknowledge the Hawaiians' connection to the Pleiades star system, because this is how the Hawaiians consider their ancestors actually having first established a presence on the Earth.
We have all kind of connection with the Pleiades, but we call it Napo'e Kalani, the people of the heaven. According to our traditions, we're created by Father Sky, the Mother. We all offspring of star people.
The festivities incorporate the recitation of the Kumulipo, a sacred chant of over 2,000 lines passed down for centuries solely by oral tradition.